Hey everyone, it's Mojaxx back in the DJcity UK lab. Today we're looking at SoundSwitch version 2.3. There is lots of interesting stuff going on in this release, so let's get to it. In case some of you aren't aware, I'll quickly break down what SoundSwitch is. Basically, it's software for both Mac and Windows, which synchronizes lighting with DJ software, Serato DJ Pro and Virtual DJ, as well as hardware with the Denon DJ Prime series. There are multiple ways of working with your music too. You can open up a track and build a fully custom light show for it manually. You can have the software auto-script a light show based on the track itself, and there are auto loops, which can run when you play a track which doesn't have a light show script. Speaking of auto loops, there are a bunch of stock ones, and you can create your own custom ones too. The software also includes Ableton Link support, which means you can have those auto loops beat synced with any software which also works with Ableton Link, like Traktor or even DAWs for live shows. Once your tracks are scripted or you have auto loops running, performing with SoundSwitch is as simple as running the software in the background and DJing as normal. Faders are automatically mapped with supported hardware, or you can MIDI map them yourself so the software knows exactly when to switch between tracks. The software speaks to DMX through a USB to DMX interface, which used to be a hulking great box, but these days they have the micro DMX interface, which is much more compact. If you already have a lighting setup, some third-party interfaces are supported too, from Entech, Eurolight and DMX King. When it comes to pricing, you can pay for SoundSwitch monthly at $8 a month, annually for $80, or you can buy it outright for $200. There is a 30-day free trial, naturally, but my advice to anyone without any existing hardware would be to pick up the micro DMX interface for between $30 and $40, as that comes with a 3-month subscription to the software too. The supported fixture library is huge and constantly expanding, and SoundSwitch will add in any missing fixtures you need if you ask, or you can program them yourself. As part of the setup process, you create different venues, which allows you to assign fixtures to different setups, ideal, for example, if you have different light packages you sell as a mobile DJ. I was impressed by SoundSwitch when I first looked at it some years ago, but during 2020 I adopted it massively for my live streams with a combination of Ape Labs and color key fixtures. I had to learn a little about DMX, how to set modes and addresses, that kind of thing, but on the whole it was a pretty easy process. The one thing I still haven't quite got my head around is working with moving heads, but that's something on my agenda to learn soon. The thing with me is, I love having great lighting, but if I have to control it myself while DJing, at some point I will forget to do that. And the beauty is that with SoundSwitch, any work done is in the preparation stage, and then during your performance you can leave it to get on by itself. There are plenty of manual controls available if you need them, some of which have been upgraded in 2.3, so we'll talk about those later. But before that, let's get into the really big news in this update, and that is Philips Hue support. Now, I'm just not into the smart home thing. I have an Echo, a few devices like that, but beyond that, home automation or turning my kitchen blue is just not my jam. So SoundSwitch had to send me some Philips Hue kit to test this with, as I didn't have any. What they sent me was the Hue bridge, the hub which talks to all of the Hue products, and a pair of the play bar lights. One thing to note, you don't need a DMX dongle for this setup, just an active license for the SoundSwitch software. Both the bridge and the software will need to be connected to the same network. The integration uses the entertainment zone feature of Hue, so you'll need to place any compatible lights into one of those using the Hue app before you start connecting to SoundSwitch. A side note on compatibility, I bought a regular white, not RGB, genuine Hue bulb, and that could not be placed in an entertainment zone. You will need color capable lights. Also, I wondered if, as Hue supports the Zigbee protocol, I could buy a more affordable generic color bulb with Zigbee and use that. Alas, no again. Only Philips' own products can be placed into entertainment zones. But with the right lights in place, connection to SoundSwitch was incredibly simple. The first time you'll need to press the button on the bridge to pair it, and then after that it's just a couple of mouse clicks away. How well does it work? Superbly. The individual Hue lights can't be scripted individually, they follow the master track of a particular song script, which is fine, although it might be kind of cool to be able to set different things for each light to do in future, like you can with DMX. But truly, in typical SoundSwitch style, you never really have to think about it again. You play music, the lights do a very good looking synchronized light show. End of story. The play bar lights themselves are very cool. They can be positioned vertically or horizontally, have a pretty bright output, and the color rendering is solid. You can run up to 3 from a single power supply, which could be useful in a crowded home DJ booth. And of course, as the Hue system is wireless, the power leads are the only ones to worry about. One concern I had with Hue lights was how they would look on camera. As the products are designed for home use, chances are most DJs will be using this setup for live streams and that kind of stuff, and a lot of smart lights can have real issues with flickering as the lights dim or change colour. So while I can't speak on how that is with the regular Hue bulbs, I can say, and you can see, there is none of that with the play bars. I'll talk more about the value proposition of Hue in my conclusion later. Spoiler alert, I think it's kinda pricey, but there's no doubt that the SoundSwitch integration is a complete success. One of those things which I never saw coming, but which, now I've had a chance to use it, makes total sense. It might not necessarily be the most accessible option in terms of pricing, but it means that DJs can add SoundSwitch to their setups with literally zero knowledge about DMX, which can be a little intimidating. It certainly was for me. Moving on to the rest of what's new in 2.3, the SoundSwitch team have definitely made efforts to streamline the process of using the software. You can now save and export entire projects to easily move venues and other information between different computers. StageLink support for Denon DJ Prime Series kit now lets you use up to 4 physical players with the correct fader logic. It was stuck on 2 decks with 2 layers before. The auto-scripting algorithms have received an upgrade. You now have new options like house and techno and trap, which should produce more appropriate results for that kind of music. The new algorithms also offer more variety in light shows than you had before. Overrides have also been massively improved. You have instant on-the-fly control over movement, colour, intensity, and even moving head positions, and the control screen for all of that is much clearer in 2.3. All the controls can be mini-mapped, or you can use the on-screen buttons. You have much more control over static looks too than you did before, which I know mobile DJs were asking for. They're now fully customizable with control over position and colour for each fixture. The default auto loops are much more interesting than they were before. Previously, I found them to all be a bit too much flash on the beat generic style, but the new ones have different sections to keep the visual interest going. Of course, making your own is still a simple task should you wish to customize further. There are some nice UI tweaks, changes to the way copy and paste works, and a new zoom control for use when scripting, which I definitely was hoping to see. And finally, there is a specific pre-configured project for the Chauvet gig bar move. I like this idea a lot. You can plug in a do-it-all system like that with multiple lights, and SoundSwitch knows exactly what's on there and what to do with it. Like the Philips Hue stuff, this makes the software even easier to use than it is normally. I hope they do the same thing for other pre-built rigs in future. So there you go, a look at SoundSwitch version 2.3. From an update point of view, very, very solid, lovely quality of life improvements, lots of feature requests from users have been fulfilled. If you are an existing SoundSwitch user, go ahead, get it, download it, because you'll get a lot out of it. Very solid. But of course, that's not the big story here. The big story here is the Philips Hue integration. And that's just, it's so straightforward. You connect to this hub one time. After that, it's a click of a button. And then you've got a fully synchronized light show with your Philips Hue lights. And these play bar lights are pretty good too, but they're just so much money. Like this setup, the hub and 2 play bar lights, like $170 or something like that. So I think if you're going to start from scratch, if you have no lighting, you're probably better off going down the DMX road to begin with. So get the SoundSwitch DMX dongle, get some generic, LED par cans. They're like 20, 30 bucks each to start with, and kind of build up from there. And then you've got a light rig that you can take out with you as well. Fundamentally, Philips Hue stuff is not designed to be taken out on the road. You could install it in bars or whatever, I guess, but like it's not what it's for. They call it smart home products for a reason, So that side of it, the pricing is just a lot if you don't have any already. If you already have some of this stuff in your house, well, you're sitting pretty, because you can just connect to your existing hub and off you go. And you'll have an incredible light show throughout whatever, your whole house if need be. So that is super cool. And it works, as I say, really well. So overall, a very exciting development. I remain a massive fan of SoundSwitch. I've used it so much in the past 18 months on my live streams. It really has transformed the way that I work. I was a DMX novice when I started working with it. I kind of remain one now, but that doesn't matter, because SoundSwitch really does that work for me. It really puts in the hard work, so I can just kind of DJ, get on with it, and still have incredible looking lights. And that to me is an incredibly valuable thing. Thanks for watching today. Make sure you're subscribed and you hit that bell icon down below to get notified anytime there's a new video from myself or the rest of the DJcity team. I'll see you soon.